brief thing with Queensman. I think. Does it appear like they are talking? Or are they
More
setting
like
it down?
him rationalizing to her.
I'll sneak up. Like Sebastian used to do. 19.
Okay, yeah, I think you kind of hear like the punchline of the whole thing. Because at the end of it, you didn't need a reason to train harder anyways. You just were wanting an excuse to justify it.
Attaboy. And that's when I will come up after like slowing my pace for a moment to hear the tail end of that. If she was about to respond, I interrupted. Greensman, got to talk to you.
Understood.
You'll kind of lead him a ways away. Just over here.
Sits on this broken piece.
Something I wanted to talk to you about. Something you said to Clint. What, a day ago? 2 days? Right before all this popped off. You were talking to him about the colorful bird, the stained glass thing.
The peacock.
Sure. You called yourself a friend of man. You had some very pointed questions, but you called yourself that exactly. Friend of man. Not man. Sounds like the capital M kind.
To all men and women, correct.
Very deliberate wording. So, after I entered the door upstairs, spoke to the gentleman inside, you recalled having a friend named Amin, who was a friend of man. I couldn't help but think of you.
He just nods. What did he say about him?
Oh no. What did he say about him? Oh God.
Well, you know what? Only you know.
Oh,
Huh.
so we can't help you.
Yeah, I was about to say that was that before we hopped back in?
Who you know what? Who knows? You were the only one there.
I was the only one.
So what did he say?
So Jericho kind of hands on his hips. He paces back and forth for a moment before he shakes his head and shrugs and says, I can't remember. So much was going on, but I won't make excuses. I should have hung on to every word that man was saying. Just pouring his heart out to me. I'm sorry.
Perhaps it is not too late to know what he left behind.
How do you figure?
He just points over to Clint and all his gear and his large flag that has a prism print on it now.
Large flag?
I forget the exact words. What was the exact name of it?
The Gilded Edict.
Correct.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a flag. Okay.
It's metal.
It's a banner that has like the fucking scroll at the end of Kung Fu Panda. Like it's
Oh, that's right. Okay.
parchment, but it's like reflective and metallic.
You think that thing can help?
It appears he left his mark on it, whatever it was. I'm sure he did so for a reason.
Well,
he just looks at you. And I am also sure I can decipher that reason.
sure you can. Friend of man. Well, I can say with first-hand experience, you are worthy of that title. We'll ask Clint to see if he can lend us that thing. See what we can divine from it. Once all is said and done with this last Earthak. Once we are behind walls that aren't crumbling, in a place where we can actually use our names. Sound good?
If that is what you need.
It's best we don't experiment too much with anything, unless we're either sure of it or safe. Last time Clint tried that, he seized up.
And found valuable information toward the future, he says, holding one finger up.
Yes, but I think if he maybe waited a few days, if I tried to convince him as such, he'd have still learned the information and he would have been vomiting under more favorable conditions.
He just nods and stands up. I do agree. If you had tried to convince him to do so in a few days, he would have done so anyways and you would have been more disappointed.
More disappointed. Full stop?
For I tried to convince him otherwise.
Oh, okay.
And I'm still doing it.
I don't know, I like to think I have a way with him. But he's a headstrong sort, that's for damn certain. Oh, and overheard a bit of what you were saying to Zoe. Sounds like good stuff. She's lucky to have you. Him too. Oh, damn it. Hard line, I mean. Still gets me sometimes.
He just nods. I appreciate that.
I don't know where you stand on comforting truths or... no, not comforting truths, comforting lies or the truth. But, you didn't tell her I was sorry, did you?
If she needed to know you were sorry, then it should come from your own mouth.
Maybe someday it will. But I'll let you get back to them. Thank you.
He stands up. And by the way, a friend of man means you're from the tribe of cobras that did not descend from Carthalia. Those who stayed loyal and true, in spite of the serpent's betrayal.
Those that didn't buy into all that progress the lion made.
He just looks back to you. If that's how you choose to interpret.
And at that, I think he'll go ahead and jump out this window. Or I guess more of a hole in the wall and try to see if he can catch up to the hunting party.
Yeah, perfect. As you catch up, Vicious sees how many people there are and just leaves.
Perfect.
Security has been established. My work here is done. But you didn't do anything though. Whoosh.
So we're trading one shadow for a different shadow. But the shadow
This one
talks to me.
blocks.
Jenny, what the hell are you doing here?
I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going alone.
You know what? Seraph will follow him out too.
Let's see how many people are here. I turn around and leave.
Why does that keep happening?
when you're going back, Vicious walks forward and
He's like, whoa, hold on. One shadow.
But that was too late. That was too little people.
Good fucking
Shepard.
Shepherd. Okay, so who actually is going?
Gosh.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
If Jericho's staying, Cleo's staying because they wanted to talk to Jericho.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, Jericho goes.
Go goes.
So you go.
Okay,
That's
so 4
right.
people go.
Y'all figure out how to roll me a nature and a survival with whatever you want to toss on it. We're adding them together. In the meantime,
Sorry.
Clint,
Yeah.
what did you have to say?
Sure, everyone caught up with you while I was having a fun time on the floor. How you been?
I've been well enough. Not going to lie then. The compound hasn't been the same now that it's filled with different voices.
Different voices?
The absence of yours and the addition of theirs.
Who got added?
He just looks over. All the underclass.
Don't tell me you hate them, Dohan.
Don't hate them. They're just... I guess I was blind to the point that I'd stop hearing all of our voices on a consistent...
Hmm.
I guess you could call it nostalgia.
Yeah, that's a way of putting it. Just don't be too harsh on her. I remember when Riker and Maven were sitting by their officer's fireplace talking about us. Called us brilliant, but reckless. And they weren't just talking about me. All of us. So maybe the underclass are, well, as you say, we'll get nostalgic and start seeing them in a similar way.
Did you know
Probably not.
that the spell Cure Poison and Disease was actually discovered by making a poison spell?
Eh? How'd that happen?
It's quite fascinating. The original creator had thought to create a specific poison that targeted internal organ. However, what we did was create an antibiotic effect. His poison killed the infection.
A poison. A targeted poison.
Precisely.
So, is that what we are?
Reckless and brilliant has its virtue and vice.
7 seconds pass. He nods. We can agree on that. And I heard you caught your own streak of brilliance while I was gone.
He just looks over. In which way?
In the same way, I just got us a very, very particular vision. By seeing the future. You were thinking on our future.
He looks over, looks around. Yes, that is the conundrum we find ourselves in.
You know, if it, he looks around. A sage's aim for paranoia is anything. I read Sebastian's journal. He didn't hear what was at the top of the tower.
Then it appears my clever ruse paid off.
He was watching, though.
He just looks back. Not that it didn't pay off in other ways as well. I don't mean to seem so callous and manipulative.
Yeah, you had to do what you had to do, right? To protect those you care about. That's why you and I cut from the same cloth. He tries to punch Doran's arm but misses. Shit. Hope this goes away soon. Anyways. I hope you didn't take your theory too seriously.
I've been working it from different angles. I've got some ideas.
Well, just like I'm working through 57 lenses right now, let me give you one. I beat the prince in my mind, my soul, and I got some very valuable insights from it. Like, sure, you can take the idea, what I'm about to say, with a pinch of salt. Came from a fiend after all, but it was from a beaten fiend. It's something to think about. All the calculations that the Archfiends are working on, they figured this all out, ran the simulations, did the calculations, all of that. But what if we did something? What if the world did something that they didn't account for? A hidden variable. I don't know I don't know how they calculate when they did this grand plan, but if they did it before they got all sealed up, they don't got time to run another calculation. So that means if we do something unaccounted for, all bets are off.
His weakly smiles at that. Where would we even start?
West of west, east of east. I got seconds of truth. We gotta go somewhere where man has never gone before. We asked Mr. Barge, another fiend, and he brought up that dark chasm in the Huatichi Empire. It has this certain predestination about it. I'm not an expert on the topic, but the way he described it is everyone has, well, at least all the Huatichi have some destiny in there, or some connection to the destiny. They can go to a certain depth of it. But no one can go beyond where they're destined. No one has ever made it to the bottom. But if we can find someone that's meant to go to the bottom, we will have gone where no one has ever gone before. Where no one is meant to go. And that's something an Archfiend won't be able to calculate. We turn an impossibility into reality. And throw a wrench into all of their machinations.
Well, first off,
Mm.
as you're saying this, you look at him and you can see how tired he looks. And just based off that, you get the feeling that he probably hasn't had
Slept properly since you made the discovery?
correct
Shit.
a moment where every day wasn't devoted to finding some answer.
Well, how's he look after getting the news?
He just sort of sits there thinking on it for a second. How do I say this? Obviously, knowing what we know about what can and cannot be said, do you think there's any intrinsic merit and value that would be gleaned upon by completing the ritual?
Against the one that shows up at the end. So do what I did.
Not as far as you did, but to engage in a similar scenario.
Shakes his head. That's the thing, Doran. I sort of came to that realization when I was at the Golden Ziggurat. I'm happy to do all of this, see the world in 57 lenses, get a sense of vertigo that is unparalleled. I'm happy to do all of this in the grand scheme of things, because someone's gotta. And I'd want it to be me, over any of you guys. Maybe I'm just stupid, ambitious, crazy, whatever. It's in my nature. And that's part of it. I don't think you'll get anything unless you're willing to go a bit beyond the limit. If you're just gonna teeter the line, I think they still win out. You gotta play their game, and then cheat and win. And by the light, I didn't have much of a hand in the planning of my execution, I assure you. That came from... It came from Riker. And it came from Julius. He looks at him, or tries to look at him. And it came from Maven.
He just does like a slight nod. But we can win. That's what you saw?
We can.
He just takes like a real deep gulp before standing up. I'm not sure I have it in me to do what must be done to win.
That's why you got brothers and sisters like me. I know you haven't slept for a long while, Doran. Julius didn't want to do the plan. He voted just to kill me. But Maven and Riker stood up for me and tried to keep me alive. You wanna know why Julius wanted me to die? Because he knew what it meant to live. I ain't never gonna get a proper night's rest for the rest of my life. But you can still put your head down. Especially now, knowing that we can win. Get some rest. Put that brilliant mind of yours to good use after it's got some sleep. And sleep comfortably knowing that there's idiots like me that are happy to take the brunt. So you don't gotta.
You see like his head pop up and go straight neutral. As you just see the gears spinning. Right. Right. That is true.
Insight check. I'll trust. I'll trust like that.
Yeah, roll it.
Disadvantage because I'm still disoriented. Yeah. That other one wasn't that much better. Can I give myself a bardic or no?
Yeah.
Phew. Mid. 20, what was it, 4?
You know, there is always someone willing to do something. Right? People will always try to do something. Even if it doesn't work, they'll try. And it's given them an idea.
Up for your thoughts, Dawn? Looks like you got a plan for me, Lane. Call me prying, but I'd want to be a part of it.
I'm going to do the ritual at Chrysantine. After I get some information and we can talk on stable ground, I would like to discuss further.
Nod. Sounds like a plan then. And before you go and do whatever you're about to do, I missed you. I'm happy to be back.
Tis been good seeing you all.
In a similar way, no. You're from a city of light. Are there any things that can be done for, I don't know, someone missing an eye or anything like that? Something to fix their vision?
Missing an eye? Yes, if you can contact a sister and on good enough graces.
But nothing
Sure.
like mechanical that could do something for that.
There are some mechanical things, but Clint, you're talking. The solution is absolution.
That it's not for me.
In what manner? Medicine is not my first forte, but I know a fair bit.
Oh, just someone missing an eye, you know?
Someone...
Like, this eye. Taps his right eye.
Got it. I think there are some things that can be done. I've actually heard of mechanical replacements. He looks over towards the center, though I think given recent events, I don't know he'd be inclined to do such.
I'd be inclined to do such?
This person might want a artificial replacement, given...